I have just witnessed a very, very strange, peculiar phenomenon, which is that if you place a piece of tissue paper onto a carpet and you spread out the tissue paper and then you remove the tissue paper, you can see the carpet again.
Oh, it's the Can't Get Any Worse podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I hope we're all well and ripping into our Tuesday mornings. Off to a win, firing on all cylinders. Look, we're here for another episode, and we've got no children at home. We've got nothing on the horizon. So let's rip right in, guys. Let's take another little look at that opening clip and see what this bloke's all on about.
I have just witnessed a very, very strange, peculiar phenomenon, which is that if you place a piece of tissue paper onto a carpet and you spread out the tissue paper and then you remove the tissue paper, you can see the carpet again.
Wow, that is an unreal magic trick. Like, that bloke's huge magic trick that he takes to parties is if you put a piece of tissue... If you put a piece of tissue on top of carpet and then you move the tissue, you can see the carpet again. Holy fuck. Now that is a magician. Adrian and Ash will be rolling in their podcasting graves right now to know that this is where magic has come to die on the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. But I did stumble across this bloke. He's got a couple of interesting clips. And look, again, the opening clip only came into play as of last week. And trust me, we're usually just going to stick to the one clip. But this guy's Instagram did pique my interest, okay? What is this bloke's name? I think his tag will pop up on this video. But he's got all sorts of like magic tricks and hacks and things like that. And you guys know I'm a cabinet maker. This one popped up and I was like, if I do not bring this to the podcast, not only for the listeners, but for the cabinet making society, I wouldn't be doing my job in the industry. So I'll hit play on this one. It's quite an interesting take.
That's another very, very useful practical tip for everybody. If you have a cupboard and the cupboard has two handles, like these two handles, and you want another handle because you think two isn't enough, you can get a hook and you can hook the hook onto one of the handles and then you can use the hook so that then you have two handles and a hook that you can choose from.
This bloke is a fucking genius, ladies and gentlemen. His tag is Mr. Peaky. So if you need some of these hacks and tips and stuff in your life, go give him a follow right now. Like, that is ingenuity at its finest. If you have two cabinet handles, but deep down you want three, just put a little hook on it. Then you've got three. You can open it from the handle or the hook. Revolutionary shit. Like, I used to work with a bloke, right? And holy my lordy, let's put that on silent. Sorry if that pierced anyone else's eardrums like it just pierced mine. Anyway, I used to work with this bloke, right? And he would always say in like meetings and shit, he's like, I'm going to revolutionize the cabinet making industry. And he'd say this shit and I would just sit there and I'd have to hold in all my laughter. I'm like, bro, you need to relax. But I think Mr. Peaky is actually genuinely going to revolutionize the cabinet making industry. Do you know what that was actually giving me as I was watching that? Huge Pimp My Ride vibes. Do you guys remember that show? Oh, God. That dude was like, if you like handles, I've put a handle inside your handle so you can open your handle with your handle just by using your handle. That show used to crack me up. Like, some poor innocent person would come in with their shitbox car, like it would barely even drive into their workshop. Rims would be hanging off. The fucking bonnet wouldn't shut properly. There'd be smoke coming out of the back. And like, obviously that is all the urgent shit. Like, this person just wants to drive their car in there, get all that shit fixed up. But this person would accidentally tell Exhibit that they're like into fish or something. Or I remember, oh God. This is one that sticks in my head. I don't know why. I just found it so hilarious. But there was this lady. She was like a nurse or something. Or she worked in like x-rays and imaging or something. And she goes to pick her car up. And they're like, yo, we heard that you like doing CT scans. So we turned the whole back of your car into a real-life working CT scan machine. And he just pops the back of this van, and it's just like she can no longer use the back of her van anymore. They've just kitted it out in this like white plastic to make it look like you're inside a CT scan machine. It was insane shit. But anyway, guys, as I fucking said, let's rip into the episode. I did just briefly speak about the cabinet making industry, and I do have some stories from work this week, but as per usual, we need to keep them somewhat vague so that I do not disclose my place of employment, so that you guys don't just blow up the phones every week and like prank call my work and be like, "Hi, is fucking Jimmy Risson there from the Can't Get Any Worse podcast? I'd like to take a moment of his time to talk about his dick and depression," because I just cannot withstand that in my place of work. So let me take a little sip. You know what I'm actually like? I'm like the Batman of the cabinet making industry. I've got all these stories and shit, but I can't tell you unless I'm behind my mask of I don't know. What am I trying to say? Like disguise? I don't know. Let's just move on to the story because I'm going to get lost in that for ages. Anyway, like I said, super vague. So let me dial my brain into vague statistics about this story, and I'm just going to let it all roll out, and whatever comes out, comes out. And if I need to beep anything, I shall beep it. But as we all know, part of my job is to go out, measure the jobs, and just go through the client, what exactly they want, what they're expecting, yada, yada, yada. And I go to this job last week, and it is for one of the biggest sort of churches in Brisbane. That's about as specific as I can get, okay? Now, I pull into this place straight away. I'm pulling into the car park, and I'm like, holy fuck, this place is next level. Like, no expense spared. There's granite everywhere. There's veneer and solid timber. Everything is the best of the best, okay? So I cruise in there, and I don't want to touch anything. I'm like, James, do not break anything. Not only for the cost factor, but I think you've used all your strikes with the man upstairs, okay? I think you're on your last strike. He's closed the door, but I'm sure I've got some homie up there who's just gone and like put a rock in the door, and he's gone, oh, I'll leave this door ajar for when old Jimmy Misson comes up here and he can just sneak through the back door. I don't know. I heard the big man upstairs is pretty against the backdoor action from everything I learned in my private school education. But anyway, let's get back to the story. My brain is all over the shop, guys. It's going to be a wild fucking episode, so buckle in. So I go in, I do my job, I meet with the builder, and I go, all right, what is it? Yada, yada, yada. We go through it all. I spent about half an hour, 45 minutes there. Now, when I got there, I needed to go to the toilet, but I didn't want to go. Let's just say that I didn't want to go, and I didn't. It's not like I wanted to do a shit or something. I'm not gonna do a shit in the home of the Lord. Is that what it's called? No, it's not called the home of the Lord. Anyway, I'm getting distracted in the details. Shut the fuck up, brain. Okay, so I just needed to do a piss. So I do the whole measure, and as I finish, I'm making small talk with the builder, and I go, "Hey, mate, busting for a piss. Is there a toilet somewhere here I can use that's away from everyone else?" Because, like, that's the other thing. This place is packed. It was a Thursday or something, but it was just packed full of people in, like, old-timey clothes, like, buckled up black fucking leather shoes and stuff. It was insane. It was an insane scene. And I go, "Is there a toilet away from everyone else where I can just sneak in and sneak out?" He's like, yeah, if you go down that hallway, and then there's a toilet down there on your right. So I go down this dark hallway. Now, I start to get the heebie-jeebies, okay? I'm in this place by myself. Technically speaking, there could be like spirits and shit in the wall. I'm freaking myself out. All I've got to defend myself is an iPad and a tape measure. Like, what am I going to do with that? Stay back, beast. I will measure the size of your giant schlong. Anyway, I get to the toilet. I go to the urinal. I take my piss. Now, I go back to wash my hands. I'm washing my hands. I looked over to the left and I see a door. And next to the door is a sign that just says baptism font. And I've gone, oh boy, what could possibly be in there? Obviously, I know what's in there. It's where people get baptized and shit. But in my brain, I'm like, why would you put this in the men's room? Like, A, that seems disrespectful, and B, I don't want to jump to any assumptions about the Catholic Church, but they've got some pretty negative press heading towards them. So putting a baptism font in your men's room, it's not helping your case, guys. It's not helping your fucking case. But anyway, do you know how badly I wanted to go and look what was behind this door? But as I said, I already had the heebie-jeebies, and I was not going to try my luck any further. Like I've already got out of here scot-free. I still had my back door perfectly intact. So I picked up my iPad and shit, and I walked out straight away. I didn't even get to the car before I started like voice messaging mates and shit. I'm like, check this out. Fucking, this is crazy. Everyone goes, well, what was behind the door? And I've gone, oh, no. You guys don't get it. I didn't look. And they're like, are you a fucking idiot? How would you see that and not look what's behind there? And I'm like, well, I don't know, guys. Like, as much as I wanted to look, as much as my interest was piqued and I would love to see what was behind that door, I could not get past my internal heebie-jeebies and see what was behind there. Like, imagine if I opened the door and there was just like a fucking sacrifice going in there, or like they're doing some sort of seance or something, just men in robes, just like hailing down to this baptismal font, and there's just like a human sacrifice in there. I would be next. I'd be the next human sacrifice. I can't do that. I've got other jobs to go and measure. I've got meetings to get to, guys. Or even worse, what if I do open the door and, as I said, some of those bad things in Catholic churches is happening, and then what? Do I fucking stop what's going? Obviously, I would stop what's going on. Okay. I'm so glad. Every now and then this happens. Okay, when I'm in like this little what's the word? Trance. When I'm in this trance and I'm just letting words flow out of my mouth, and whatever comes out comes out. Sometimes there is a big stop sign that just flashes before my eyes and goes, you're going to get yourself in trouble if you keep going with this. So I'm glad I stopped myself before I kept going with that. I would just like to put it out there in public. If I did see anything like that going on, I would certainly put my body on the line to stop it. Okay. Anyway, let's move out of that. I'm going to take another sip. I got one more work story this week, and I had to go do another measure this week. It was a bit of a different scenery than the last one. I had to go measure a couple of jobs out. Again, got to be pretty vague. Out whoop whoop way. And I like that. I like it when my boss goes, oh, I've got a couple of jobs out there. I don't really want to drive out there. I'm like, I'll fucking drive out there. I love just zoning out and just following straight roads for days. Now I go out to these ones. I measure the first one, relatively easy. Jump in my car, go on maps, type in the next one. It's about 45 minutes away. I'm like, okay, sweet. Zone out, put the podcast back on, start cruising, and all of a sudden, my maps takes me to a dirt road, and it's just got big signs. It's like private road, no fucking, no public access, blah, blah, blah. So I pull over, I map it again, and my maps is basically like, mate, unless you go this way, you got to go all the way back, and it's going to be like fucking an hour and a half. And I was like deep down, I didn't really care. Like, I'm paid by the hour. So I was like, I've got time. I could do that if I had to. But at the same time, I was like, it's a lot of effort. I'm just going to sneak down this dirt road. All right. So I start driving down there, and to start with, it's not too bad. Like, the first kilometer of this dirt road, I guess, relatively smooth, the usual jitters and shit that you get on a dirt road. But then it must be like the council or whoever just stops like caring for that. It must be up to like the locals to maintain or something. And that's when it started to get a bit sketchy. Like, there was rain the night before, so it was a bit muddy and shit. And I'm like, fuck, I'm going to get bogged or something on this old dirt road. I'm going to like get taken by one of these. I thought I was scared in the church. Now I'm in a whole different horror movie. I'm in like Wolf Creek now. There's going to be this cute little cabinet maker just on the side of the road trying to change his tire, and then all of a sudden he's going to get kidnapped by an incest family like The Hills Have Eyes. That movie fucked me up, ladies and gentlemen. There's a movie I've seen. If we go back to the old school days of the podcast where I've never seen any movies, I've actually seen, look, and again, I've told you my brain's all over the place today. I've actually seen a fair few horror movies. So when Adrian and Ash come back on the podcast, I'm going to take them on that tangent. I could almost guarantee I've seen more horror movies than both of them. I don't watch these stupid classics like The Matrix and fucking... What else do they tell me to watch? I don't know. Probably like Goodfellas or something. What else is good? What else was big back in the 70s when those two were growing up? Anyway, I'm driving down this dirt road. All of a sudden, I am met with a giant flock of turkeys. Is that what it's called? A flock? I feel like it's not called a flock of turkeys. I actually had this argument with Adrian when I was telling him this story when I got back to work. I feel like for some reason a gaggle of turkeys is jumping out in my head right now. If you know the answer to this, put it in the comments this week on Spotify or YouTube, wherever the fuck you listen to this. A gaggle of turkeys? I don't know. Or a gobble of turkeys. It's not a gobble. Gobble's the sound they make. Anyway, whatever the fuck they are, they did not want to move off the road. There is legit maybe 30 to 40 turkeys just standing in the middle of the road. And I'm in my car. I start to slowly like drive towards them, and I'm like, surely you guys are going to move as soon as I like approach. Not moving. They clearly, this is their road. They were looking at me through the windscreen. They're like, dickhead, didn't you see the sign at the front of the road that said locals only? You're not a fucking local. And now we've been trained to block off any public traffic. And now the farmer's going to come out with his shotgun and he's going to blow a fucking hole in your brain. And that's pretty much what happened. All of a sudden, I'm looking to the house to the left, and there is this old farmer just standing there staring at me. And he's just got the most blank look on his face. He's not showing any sign of wanting to come and like shoo his turkeys out of the way. He's just looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing here? You're not from round these parts. Go on, get out of here. You know what I mean? And I like he was looking at me, and I'm like trying to politely ask his turkeys to move. So I'm like, put my window down. I'm like, come on, guys. Jump out of the way. And they slowly start spreading a little bit as I'm driving through them. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I was 60% sure there was no turkeys in front of me that I was going to crush. But I knew if I ran over one of this bloke's turkeys, he had the look in his eye where he was looking at me and he's like, if you run over one of my fucking turkeys, I'm going to show you the true meaning of gobble gobble. Just getting gobble gobbled by a farmer on a back road. That's some scary shit. But anyway, this is the true part of this story I wanted to get to. Is I was driving on these old dirt roads, right? Sounds like a country song. I should have written a fucking country song while I was out there. Anyway, as I've said on the podcast before, I've spent a fair bit of my childhood out in the country. I feel like I'm pretty cultured in the country. I can put the twang on. I got a pair of Wrangler jeans up in the top of my cupboard I could bust out. I could fit in if I needed to. Like I said to the boys, I was like a real life Hannah Montana growing up. I'd have one personality when I was out in the country, and then I'd have to transition for when I came to the city. I was transitioning before it was cool, guys. Oh God, let's move on again. You're going to get yourself in trouble, James. Anyway, now this is something that took me completely off guard. Okay, I'm driving. I'm on these dirt roads. I've passed the whole turkey situation, and every maybe 5 minutes or so, a farmer would drive past in his beat up ute, and I'm not used to this anymore in the city. Okay, the farmer would drive past and he'd do the old one finger wave off his steering wheel. Okay, just lift a finger, politely say, "Hey mate, how you going?" Just acknowledge them. And I've gone, oh my God, this feels so good. This feels so good to be back into it. So I've seen this guy approaching. He does it to me. I do it to him. And I don't know why. I don't know if this is because I've been out of the game for so long. It just felt so uncoordinated and not natural to me to one finger wave anymore. Like I went to lift the one finger and two fingers came up. It was like I was trying to do the peace sign to him. That's not how you fit in the country. You don't do the peace sign to someone when they're one finger waving you. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh, God. But anyway, this is how you know I'm messed up in the head, okay? As I was driving out there, I probably spent a solid half an hour. I don't even remember if I had any music or podcast playing in my ears as I was doing this because I was just in my head so much. I was spending about half an hour driving, just practicing. Just practicing my fucking one finger waves. Like, that is some insane shit. When I fucking snapped myself out of it and I realized what I was doing, I was like, people are probably just fucking looking at me like I'm just hailing Hitler or something. I would have looked like the biggest fucking weirdo if someone had seen me doing that the whole time. It was insane. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. I just had to practice my one finger my one finger waving on the dirt road. So yeah, that was my week of work. That should that should be the name of my autobiography. Dirt road fingering. I reckon we've just found the episode title, guys. Unless we get another fucking cracker coming up, I reckon that could be the episode title. But last little work story. This isn't even a fucking work story. This just happened when I was getting ready for work on Thursday or Friday. I don't even remember, but one sec. I fucking hurt myself pretty bad. I was in the injury bin, if you will. Is that what it's called in the footy? What's it called when because they got the sin bin, so it's not the injury bin. You don't go to the bin if you're injured. Just like, I don't know. Whatever it was, I was fucking injured. And speaking about the NRL, they had that big injury last week of fucking, what was his name? The Hello Sport Boys did a funny skit on it. And that's the only reason I remember his name. Montoya. Montoya was out last week with a circumcision, which is fucking an insane injury to suffer in the NRL. But basically what I did was I basically circumcised my toe in a roundabout way. So I was brushing my teeth, right? Doing my usual fucking get ready for work routine, brushing my teeth, walk out of the bathroom in darkness, right? This is 3:30 in the morning. Not a sound in the house, not even a mouse. Oh, God. Anyway, as I've walked out of the bathroom, I've gone, oh, fuck, I left my phone in there. So I've done the sickest spin move you've ever seen in history, right? Like I pretty much thought I was in the NBA. I was doing a spin move. I was about to hit a sick fadeaway. And mid-spin, I have just fucking axed my toe on the little step up into the bathroom. And it was one of those moments where you were just like, I'm too scared to look down right now. I don't want to look down and see whatever the fuck I've done to my toe right now. It's going to be worst case scenario. I can just feel it. And after a while of just hopping around like the fucking Easter bunny, just holding my foot, I've gone, all right, I need to assess it. I need to see what the fuck I've done. And I look down and I just see my toe is so fucking swollen. The nail is black and there's just fucking blood everywhere. And I've gone, oh my God. It's worst case scenario. It is worst case scenario. I thought if I wiped all that blood away, I was going to have to rip my toenail off. So I've wiped the blood away. I'm trying to be as quiet as I can, okay? Like I said, it's 3:30 in the morning. Nikita and the kids are asleep, and I'm like in immense pain to the point where I'm like, I don't really care at this point if I wake anyone up. I need some sympathy. So I'm hopping around, and I end up wrapping it up, band-aiding it up, and just squeezing my fucking work boot on. God, it hurt. And like, it hurt to the point where I almost pulled a sickie. Like, I was 99% of the way there. I had the text message written out, ready to send my boss. And I was like, oh, just fucking push through. If it hurts that much at work, you can come home. And I got home and I told Nikita, I'm like, oh, I hurt my toe. I almost pulled a sickie because of it. And she looked at me and she's like, if you had pulled a sickie because you hurt your fucking toe, I would have thought you were the biggest bitch in history. I would have been so fucking angry at you. And I was like, fuck, that's great. That's good to know. That's good to know the sympathy in this household that my wife just would not give a fuck if I could have cut my toe off. And in her head, she would have been like, oh, owie, I hurt my little toe. Like, fuck me. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. The dog is going nuts and my cameras are going off. So could be a second home invasion. Stay tuned. Nah, no luck, guys, which sucks because I could have used a fresh story for the podcast and for the show that I'm writing. But anyway, where was I at? Hurt my toe. Oh, my dog fucking ruined that, didn't she? I was actually going to segue into the next turns out it can get worse clip. So let's pretend, I don't know if I can do that in the world of editing. I don't think I can, but let's seamlessly move right in to this fucking lovely lady while we're talking about feet and toes and things like that. See what she's got to say.
Oh, look at all you guys huddled up in one corner. That's the worst place to be. Look at that. Crying for their lives between my toes with no escape. I'm sorry it had to be this way, but who knows? Maybe it was how you was meant to go.
Those poor bugs. Just a fucking disgusting lady with gross toes. Just squishing bugs in the fucking corner of a room, like, and then apologizing to them. Like, ma'am, I think, judging by the look of your feet, those bugs are just, they're happy to be dead rather than smelling that fucking athlete's foot that is clearly just wedged underneath those fake pink toenails. Oh, that was pretty gross. Let's move on. I took Westy to the shops the other day, and what do we even have to go for? Oh, that's right. I had to go to the shop for something. We'll touch on it. Oh, fuck it. Let's touch on it now, and then I'll give it another plug at the end of the episode. Got this fancy new watch that's on my wrist right here from Jesse from Park and Watches that was on the show a couple months ago. So I had to take it to watch shop over there to get a couple of links taken out because it was a bit too big for my dainty little wrist. And the bloke goes, oh, give me 10, 15 minutes and it'll be ready. So I go to Westy. I'm like, what do you want to do? And he goes, oh, let's go to Rebel and I'll look at some basketball shit, yada, yada, yada. So take him to Rebel. We finish in there and we are cruising back and we walk past Zing. I don't know if you guys have Zing near you, but it's like a branch of EB Games. So it's like a nerd shop, okay? And they do Pokemon and fucking all the nerdy shit. And at our local Zing, there is this character. He is definitely on the spectrum, but he's not like, he's just fucking overly friendly and happy and bubbly. Like he's one of those bubbly, happy people that just irritates you if you're not in the right state of mind to like interact with him. And when I was telling Nikita this story, she's like, I know exactly who the fuck you're talking about. So he has a reputation. It's not just me. And so Westy and I, we're walking around. It's just me and Westy in there and then a mum with her daughter in the pram. Now, I don't want to throw too many special needs people. I don't know. Special needs people in this story. But at this point, we have the dude that works at Zing. Westy has a fucking diagnosis, as much as everyone doubts it. But hey, he's my son, okay? If you guys don't think he has it, what the fuck do I have? Anyway, and then there's this girl in the pram who she has an iPad with like words and letters on it, like not stuck to her chest, like around her neck on a lanyard, and she's in the pram, right? Now, her mum is at the counter and she's talking to the guy behind the counter and they're just making some annoying small talk. The type of small talk that I would never like to fucking get myself involved with, okay? And this little girl in the pram, she's like, mama, mama, mama. And her mum's just ignoring her. And at this point, I'm like, oh, I feel bad. Like, I kind of want to go and ask the little girl, like, if she's okay, if there's anything I can get. Maybe she's dropped something. But I just leave it. I'm just from on the other side of the store just looking. And she goes again. She's like, mama, mama. Now, without missing a beat, the guy behind the counter, the heavily autistic happy man, just mid-conversation to this mother, he just goes, so the little girl goes, mama, mama. And this bloke just goes, mama just killed a man. And I've fucking turned straight around. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he walks out from behind the counter like he thinks he's on stage. He thinks he's in Broadway. And he like drops down on one knee to this little girl in the pram and then says the next line, fucking, what is it? Something about, mama just killed a man. Put a gun up to his head, pull the trigger, now he's dead. To this little girl. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing right now? It was some insane shit. And I was looking at this little girl and she was looking at her mum and she's like, Mum, if I ever end up like this man, please do the lyrics of this fucking song to me right now because I would rather be dead than fucking... Oh, God. Oh, God, I'm fucking on one today. Let's take back the ending of that story. I'm sorry. That is not funny to joke about. Let's move on. Oh, I should have... Do I have a clip I could insert there? I don't think so. I think we're just going to have to push through. We're just going to have to push through, guys. I had to have a tough chat with Westy this week. Nikita and I had to sit him down. So I've mentioned a million times before, he plays basketball and he's in under 10s, right? Which means basically anyone from under 7s. So if you're 7 to 10, you play in this team and then you move up to under 12s, I think. So then if you're 11 or 12, you play in there. And then I think after that, it goes every year, which is when I played footy, I'm pretty sure it was just every year anyway. So Westy's team, as I've said, they're undefeated. They all mesh well. They're a good little team, okay? And there's probably 3 or 4 kids on that team that are like, how the fuck are you this good at like 10 years old or however the fuck old you are? So 90% of the team, so it's just Westy and one of the other boys that are meant to play another season in under 10s. And the coaches are basically like, look, we want to keep the team together because fucking we're unstoppable. We're undefeated. No one's coming close to us. We want to move the whole team up to under 12s. So they're like, had a chat to Nikita and I. They're like, do you want to move Westy up to under 12s? We'd love to take him up with us. But it's obviously up to you. If he wants to come up, we've got to make like special consideration with the clubs and blah, blah, blah to make sure that they're happy for him to move up. And like straight away, we asked Westy, he's like, yeah, 100%, I want to move up. And Nikita and I were like, well, if that's what he wants to do. So for the past couple of weeks, we've been watching him in the game. And in trainings and just in like day-to-day life, he can shoot, he can dribble, he can fucking do crossovers between his legs. He can do it all right. But then when he gets to game time, it's like the big moment hits him and he just like more or less freezes. If he's got an open shot or something, he will either wait for someone to come and block him and then miss, or he won't get the pass away quick enough. And it's just like those small little moments, and it's like, fuck, we should really keep him back just to develop a little bit more. And that's the other insane thing that I didn't really notice until this year with like watching him around these other basketball boys. There must be this crazy jump in like a boy's childhood from like the 8-year-old mark to like the 9 to 10-year-old. Because I'm looking at some of these other boys and they're like fucking acting like teenagers in a way. And then some of the shit Westy does, I'm like, oh, he's still like a cute little boy, if that makes sense. So after this weekend's game, Nikita and I had a chat to him and we're like, look, we think he should stay in under 10s for one more year. And he's like, nah, I don't want to fucking do it. I'll fucking lose all my friends, blah, blah, blah. So then we tried the whole, but you'll make new friends. It'll be better, blah, blah, blah. He's like, the other teams aren't as good as this team, which is true because they've basically put all the good teams, all the good kids in this team to try and be the best team, if that makes sense. And so the other 2 teams are just made up of all the other kids that signed up. So now Westy's going to have to join one of those teams and he's just stressing about not winning and blah, 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 which is good. I don't mind. Like Westy's not like cocky about winning or anything, but he also likes to win, if that makes sense. Like he's not going to lose and come home and like punch holes in the wall, but he'll be like, oh, that fucking sucked. I wish we tried harder or something like that, which is sick. So we're trying to get it past him. He's like, nah. And then on the weekend, I pulled him aside and I'm like, look, Westy, you know how these other boys on your team, they're fucking, like some of them are hitting threes and they're 10 years old. It's insane. And I go, you know how some of these other boys are like scoring fucking 30 points a game, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah. I'm like, if you stay down one more year, that'll be you in the new team. And he's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, you'll be like this is how I sold it to him. I go, yeah, you'll be like the LeBron James or the Steph Curry of your team. And straight away, that's all he needed to hear. He's like, oh, okay, so I'll be like the best player on my team. I'm like, technically speaking, probably. I'm like, but we don't know if anyone else is signing up next year that might be better than you. And also, in saying that, you might be the best player on your team, but that doesn't mean the rest of your team's going to be good. Like you might still get pumped by 30 points by other teams that are better than you. Just because I'm saying you're going to be the best player doesn't mean you're going to fucking win. And he's like, no, I get it. So I smoothed it over with him, and yeah, we're going to keep him down in under 10s. And I think it's the best thing. Like when you stand back and look, I think it's going to develop him better. If he moved up to under 12s, like I said, that jump where they must go from like 9 to 10, and I feel like those boys are older. Could you imagine little 8-year-old Westy up against genuine 12-year-olds? Like there's a kid lives near my mum, and him and Westy are good mates. I think he started high school this year, and just seeing him against Westy, it's fucking insane. Like this dude, this kid was a boy like 2 years ago. I'd see him playing with Westy in the street, and now it just looks like he fucking he's just a man. He's like, yeah, bigger than me. Not really, but fucking, I don't know. I'm in a rabbit hole right now. Let's move on to the next one. What the fuck did I just get up on my screen just then? Oh my God. My little bar at the back of my Mac just popped up. All right. This is a fucking crazy story. Buckle in, guys. What happened to the good old days where you would find something, okay, and you'd return it to the owner? Say you find a wallet on the ground. I remember when I was a kid, I think I found a wallet once. Mum drove me somewhere to return it to the bloke. We returned it to him, and I'm pretty sure he pulled a 50 out and he gave it to me. That is what society is all about. That's what we're built on, all that giving culture. Now, the other day, we got a big like certificate in our mailbox, like a big envelope, and on the front it had TAFE Queensland. So inside was clearly somebody's TAFE certificate. And I get it. These days they're worth fucking nothing, okay? I've never been to a job interview and they've been like, "Oh, you're perfect for the job, but before we sign you up, can we see your TAFE certificate?" I've never seen anyone I've ever worked with TAFE certificate. Ash has probably got his framed up in his workshop. He's like, "Oh, boss, do you mind if I put this behind my bench?" He strikes me as that kind of guy. Anyway, the postie puts it in our letterbox, and I'm like, that's fucking weird. Why would they be resending my TAFE certificate? But then I look in the little window, and they've put the thing in the envelope offset, like crooked, if that makes sense. So all you can see is the name and the number and the like address. Now, without doxing myself, the last digit of the 2 digits was the same, and the street address and all that was the same. But the first number that was hidden by the envelope was incorrect. So the posties just assumed, oh, this fucking dumb cunt's probably going to TAFE for something. I'll just put it in his mailbox. So he puts it in our mailbox. I bring it inside and I go, "Oh, boys, they've put someone's mail in our letterbox." I go, "Put your shoes on. We'll walk it up the road and we'll give it to the person who actually owns it." Because I've now like ripped the envelope a little bit just to see what that first digit was. I didn't open it. I haven't done anything fucking illegal. So I go, "All right, boys, put your shoes on. We'll take it back to the rightful owner." And all of a sudden, we start this mystical journey. And I thought we were about to have our Willy Wonka moment. You know what I mean? Like, I return this, and he goes, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I've been expecting this." And he just gives me like a pot of gold or something. That's what I envisioned in my head. So I'm telling the kids this. I'm like, "Oh, boys, when I was younger, if we returned something, we got like a little reward or something as a bit of a thank you." And they're like, "Oh, wow, that sounds incredible, Dad. I can't wait. I wonder what's waiting for us when we get there." Like, I felt like a mystical shaman just leading these 2 boys on this magical adventure. Anyway, we get there. I knock on this bloke's door, and this typical tradie looking bloke, right? He might have been in his 40s or so. He opens the door as if to say, "What the fuck are you doing on my front step?" And I go, "Oh, hey, mate, how you going? We just got this letter in our mailbox for you. I think they've delivered it to the wrong house." So he opens his screen door, takes it out of my hands, and he goes, "Yeah, cheers, mate," and then basically shuts the door in my face. And I'm left standing there dumbfounded, okay? My kids are standing on the front grass. They're waiting. They're like, what did he give you, Dad? We didn't see him give you anything." They're waiting for me to come down with just something, like a medallion or something. And I walk down the bottom and I go, "Well, time to go home, kids. We didn't get anything." It was just so deflating. Like, I've decided now I'm never helping anyone again in my life. Like, next time if something gets delivered to me incorrectly, that shit's going straight in the fucking bin. I'm done being an uplifting member of society. Oh, God. I wish I never returned it. And then he would never be able to be a qualified fucking mechanic or whatever the fuck he is. But anyway, I don't know if you guys feel like that. Let's go on to our next clip. What is it? This is how I felt. This is how I felt after I did that. Let me get this up and drag it over. We just saw a morbidly obese man taking a piss next to some temporary fencing, and his mate comes up behind him and just kicks him in the back. Such a fucking dog move. But this big fat man, he's got both hands on his dick and he's just fallen straight forward. I'm imagining his little pee-pee's going through one of the holes in the fence, and now he's just stuck like a reverse turtle. He's like a little reverse turtle. The cunt is so fat with both his hands on his dick that he couldn't roll over. So he just spent like a solid 10 seconds just face down in this temporary fencing. Oh God, that is traumatizing shit. But I'll take a little sip and we'll keep ripping through. One sec, guys. Oh, all right. I just remembered that I actually haven't updated a clip for the end of this episode. So while I'm telling this next story, I'm going to do that at the same time because I'm a fucking multitasking beast. Turns out I can't multitask because I was just concentrating too hard. Let me airdrop that while we're talking. So, sorry if that came through again. So basically, like I've told you guys before, been trying to get on top of my fitness or fatness, whatever the fuck you want to call it, as of late. And this is something I've probably been looking into for a good 2 to 3 years, I suppose. It's just one of those things where I've been looking at it and I'm like, you're not that guy, pal. You are not that fucking guy. But that is the whole world of like vitamins and shit like that and supplements, if you will. So I take the regular supplements when I go to gym, just your standard pre-workouts and your protein. And that's all I've ever really done. I've never really dabbled in anything else. And as of late, I've just been like, my body feels fucked. I'm always exhausted. It's always sore. I should start looking at some other shit. And I did a bit of research, and then I also used my good friend ChatGPT, and I just said, "Hey, bud, this is how I'm feeling. This is the workouts I'm doing. This is what I'm trying to achieve. Let me know what I should be doing." And ChatGPT basically spat out the shit that I had been like putting off for a while now. And it's like, that's the other thing. It's not crazy supplements or vitamins or anything like that. So as of this week, I've started. What have I started? I've started creatine. I remember back when I first started gym, like just out of high school, people would talk about creatine like it was fucking steroids. And just to know that, like, I don't know, that's how young and dumb we were. But the reason I started that is, yes, it's supposed to help you with fucking lifting and shit like that. But there's also like all these studies and stuff that I've been reading as of late for like mental, what's the word? Cognitive, I can't say the word. But it's supposed to like help you think and shit like that. And I was like, oh, that'll actually be good for stage and for even podcasting in a way. So I've started creatine. I've started magnesium for my sleep. Holy fuck. That was like a game changer this week. I was so unexpected. And Nikita's like, I've been telling you to use that for fucking so long. But like legit, I'd take this tablet and then within like half an hour or so, I'd get so fucking sleepy and then I would just literally pass out until my alarm went off. And that's the other thing. I was like waking up just before my alarm would go off. And I was like waking up fresh and rejuvenated. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? Whereas before I was like snoozing my alarm and I'm like, even if I'd get 10 hours sleep, I'd just wake up so fucking groggy. So that's actually helped, which has been surprising. Then I've just started a couple of basic shit, vitamin D and fish oil. And all that on top of my normal pre-workouts and proteins and shit. And I think why I was putting all this off is I was like, oh, it's going to be so expensive. But I went and bought all those supplements, like not the pre-workout and the protein, I already had that. But for the creatine, magnesium, vitamin D and fish oil, I think it all cost me like $80 or something for all that. And I was like, that's pretty fucking nuts. And like the vitamins and stuff, it's like a tub of 1,000 tablets. I'm like, Jesus, that's going to last me 6 billion years. But yeah, my body is basically a walking chemist now. I should get like a Chemist Warehouse tattoo across my chest or something. But on top of that, so this was the same day as the Zing thing, okay? The Zing thing. That fucking rhymes, and that just took me out of what I was about to talk about. But we've spoken about my gym escapades as of late, and the last, I think it got built maybe even longer than a year ago now, but there's a big fancy gym near my house. It's called EMF for anyone that's in the southeast Queensland region. There's probably 4 of them scattered around now from Brisbane to the Gold Coast, and their big selling point is like they're this big fucking like grand gym, okay? Luxurious gyms, high-end equipment, full recovery facilities like ice baths, warm baths, saunas, steam rooms, fucking like leg massage chairs, the works, okay? And they've also got a creche, I think they're called, which is like a playground for your kids while you worked out. Anyway, we go to the supplement store, we get all this, we're sitting in the car, Westy's in the passenger seat. I look over at the gym and I'm like, oh, Westy, there's that gym that I want to join. And he's like, okay, why don't you go join it? And I was like, Westy, it's not that easy, mate. I know in your 8-year-old brain, it might seem pretty easy to just walk into a gym and sign up. It's not that easy, champ. I go, oh, nah, not today. I go, they do this free trial, though. So, like, maybe I'll sign up for the free trial one day. He's like, go sign up now. And I'm like, oh, God, just getting fucking put on it by your 8-year-old son. Just your 8-year-old son looking at you like, Dad, why are you being such a fucking bitch? Just go into the gym and sign up. Yeah, it was quite demoralizing. So Westy goes, come on, I'll come with you. And I was like, oh my God. Saying this out loud, it's just insane. But yeah, I walked in there. It's definitely not my caliber of person. Like I felt like a not a gazelle, because that's quite a glamorous thing. What's like a shitty animal in the jungle? I felt like a sloth just walking into like a den of lions and bears, and everybody was jacked. Everybody was chiseled. Like they had to be there. Everyone was just fit as fuck. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were ready to go. Anyway, so we walk in there and the lady's like, well, why don't I take you on a little tour? And I was like, oh, fuck. All right, let's go. So Westy and I are walking through, and Westy's never been in a gym before. So his eyes have lit up and he's like, this place is fucking incredible. And now he's like, Dad, can I join your gym? And I'm like, dude, you're 8. I don't think 8-year-olds can join gyms. So we walked through and it was immaculate. Everything was insane. And she shows us like the creche thing, and Westy is like, I'm coming to gym with you every time just to play in this fucking playground. And I'm like, sure. So I came home. I told Nikita, I'm like, there's a new gym I really want to join. Westy and I walked through it today, and she's like, well, why don't you join it? And I'm like, nah. No, it's not for me. It's not my people, you know? It's I'd rather just go to my rundown Beanley gym with my fellow Loganites and just get sexually abused by men that just come through and take advantage of me. See, that's one thing I know I wouldn't have to suffer from if I joined this gym. There is nobody there that would fucking come on to me. They would be like, ew, why is this fucking fat slob in our sauna? Oh, God. But let's go on to, what's this clip? Drag it over.
I guess you 3 parties about to like Candy Crush only Adrian.
Oh my gosh, she's famous.
Get side profile with this. Watch. Give a.
Oh my face. Oh, this side's better. Yes.
This side's better.
The hair is giving, sister. It's natural. I love it.
I met Julie.
She goes, babe, get my good side. I don't think she's ever had a good side. That is a visually cracked out woman. Her makeup was so fucking heavy. She makes the It Clown look like fucking Sydney Sweeney. Oh, I'm sorry. That was mean. That was really mean. But let's rip into my weekend comedy. We kicked off on Saturday for West Park Productions. We had Sunny's at Margate again, another middle of the day gig. And look, middle of the day gigs, they're fucking, I don't know. There's something about them, eh? It's just seeing everyone's face and like you can clearly see when they think something's not funny. There's just something about it. Like comedy is supposed to be in a tight little room in darkness, just everyone squished together. That's perfect scenario. So a rooftop bar in the open in the middle of the day, it's potentially arguably one of the worst places for comedy. But yeah, we started the show and again, I think this has been the cool thing. When we first started there, it was very rough. The crowd was not really a comedy crowd, if that makes sense. But as we've sort of kept going, it's become more popular. The venue's increased it to monthly now. The venue's fucking frothing off it. They send me an email after every show and they're just like, nothing but positive reports. The crowd loved it. When can we do more? Blah, blah, blah. Now, we pushed through and, yeah, again, the crowd on Saturday, probably one of the most responsive we've had out there. Everyone was having a sick time. Everyone was up for it. And there was actually a food and wine festival down the road, like the Moreton Bay Food and Wine Festival. So I just kicked off the show and I was basically just like, oh, is this for fucking everyone that missed out on the Food and Wine Festival tickets down the road, and cracked up all the oldies straight away. So yeah, I did the opening bracket and super weird again. I haven't had this for so long, but that like tearing up feeling again. I started to get that towards the end of my set and I did not know fucking why. So I just quickly pushed through, got the first act up on stage and then it just instantly went. So I don't know if it was just like the stress or whatever of trying to make it all quickly come together before the show. But once that went, turned out to be a cracking show. All the acts crushed and then I was packing up after, doing my usual shit, plug the show, plug the podcast, plug the solo show coming up, yada, yada, yada. And I go, I'll be packing up the gear for the next half an hour or so. So if anyone wants to have a chat, come over, have a chat, follow me on socials, blah, blah, blah. And there were 3 groups of older ladies that came up and all 3 of them said pretty much word for word the exact same thing. And they're like, oh, how do you find the daytime gigs? And I'm like, look, if I'm being honest, they're a little bit of a punish, but they're fun. Like you guys today, you guys were all incredible. So days like this, it's good, but some days it can be real hard work. And they're like, oh, that's unfortunate to hear. And I'm like, oh, why is that? And they go, oh, look, we miss out on like a lot of comedy and things like that because like we're obviously of an older age and we don't want to be going out at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night to go and watch comedy. So we can watch this. We can go home now, have a couple of wines, and we'll be in bed by 7 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that we can bring some joy to your days. So looking at it from that point of view, I was like, oh, okay, it's actually pretty cool that we can do that for people. So that was a fun gig. Then that same night, I had Good Chat Comedy Club, had their gong show again. So I was on that a couple of weeks ago. Then they emailed me last week. They're like, got another spot for you. You keen for it? And this was the big takeaway I took from that one, okay? And this isn't even like comedy related. And you guys might sit there and go, the fuck are you talking about, dickhead? But this watch on my wrist, again, we're going to get to it at the end. I wore that on stage at the Sunny's gig, and there was just something about it. It was just like, I like wearing the same shit every show. It just takes that thing out of performing for me. I don't have to think about what I'm wearing or anything like that. And so yeah, later that night, the Good Chat gig came around, and I was feeling confident from the Sunny's gig. I'd rocked a new watch, and I was like, fuck, what if it's just the day for new shit? And since I started comedy, I really wanted to wear a hat on stage, okay? I wear my hat, like I wear a hat all day, every day in my everyday life. So I'm like, oh, it'd be pretty cool to wear a hat on stage, see how that feels up there. I'm like, nah, I'm not a hat guy. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, it feels disrespectful to like the comedy gods to be rocking a hat on stage. But I'm like, it's just a casual gong show at the Good Chat Comedy Club. If I'm going to do it, tonight's the night. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to wear a hat tonight. So now I've got new watch, new hat. And there was like this oversized white shirt my mum bought me a few weeks ago. And I've worn it a couple of times in my day-to-day. But I just didn't like, I don't know, it didn't feel like it sat right on my body or something. And on Saturday night again, I said to Nikita, I'm like, usually I wear black shirts on stage. I'm thinking about wearing this white shirt, just something different. So I put it on with my jeans. She's like, that actually looks really fucking good. And I'm like, actually? And she's like, yeah, 100%. And I thought she was fucking with me. So then I go, look, I'm thinking about wearing a hat as well. I put the hat on and she's like, that's the coolest I've ever seen you look to go to a show. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on right now? So, so I cruise in. The whole drive, I'm going, fuck, I wish I packed my black shirt so I could get changed. I'm not wearing a hat. I took my hat off like 30 times on the drive. It was like me practicing my one finger waves again. That's how fucking nervous I was. Anyway, I get there. I take my hat off. I'm like, I'm not wearing the hat. Start walking. I get like 10 meters away from my car. I'm like, fuck it. If I don't do it tonight, I'm never going to do it. Put the hat on. I walk down to the comedy club. I'm not even joking. I got like 5 compliments from other comedians. They're like, wow, you look fucking good tonight. And I was like, what is going on right now? They were just putting my confidence through the roof. And the show starts and I walk up beside the sound booth, which is just outside the green room. I'm standing there next to the guy that runs Good Chat. And we have friendly banter every now and then, but nothing too serious. All of a sudden the show's going. He just looks at me. He's like, fuck, man, you're looking huge tonight. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And like, he's all about his fitness and shit. And, he's like, Jesus Christ, you're a fucking beast. And he starts squeezing my arms and stuff. And I was like, what is going on right now? And he's like, how much do you weigh? And I was like, oh, I don't want to say I'm fat. And he's like, dude, you fucking don't look fat tonight. And I'm like, I am. And he's like, oh, fucking, you're an Adonis. And I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. So basically I haven't taken that shirt off the entire, since the show on Saturday night. But anyway, let's rip into the show. Show starts. We're going through it. There's this guy at the front. He's trying to make the show all about him, okay? He's yelling out. Turns out the MC, Dusty Rich, one of the funniest guys in the scene, starts going back and forth with him. Turns out this bloke's name's Ron, okay? And he goes, Ron, if you want to be part of the show, I'll put your name in the bucket. You can go out the back with the other comedians. You can come on stage and do comedy. And Ron's like, oh my God, it would be a dream come true. So Dusty goes, all right, I'm doing it. So he puts Ron's name in the bucket. Ron comes out the back with us. He starts chatting. And Ron is a loose one, okay? He was obviously stressed as fuck about what was about to happen, which hats off to him for even having the balls to do that. And he's pacing around the green room with us. And he goes, all right, I need to get ready. I don't know what I'm going to say. And he gets up on stage. Dusty calls his name maybe 10, 15 minutes later. Dusty calls his name. He goes up on stage and he takes a deep breath and then he talks into the microphone. He's like, my name's Ron. Basically, I'm going through a very messy divorce at the moment. I've lost my 2 kids. My ex-wife's suing me for like $500,000. I've fucking lost everything. And straight away just starts like tears are welling in his eyes. And the club is silent, okay? The green room is silent. We're looking at this like, oh my God, this is worst case scenario for a comedy show, okay? A punter getting on stage and having a mental breakdown, nothing sucks the energy out of the room like that. So we're in panic mode. Dusty, you could see he's in panic mode now, and he's looking at the guy in the sound booth like, fuck, do I gong this guy to get him off? But then Ron, like, he snaps, he goes into second gear and he starts to rattle off a couple of jokes about that situation. He's getting some laughs out of the crowd, and the crowd's obviously been polite to him and they're laughing at shit maybe they shouldn't be laughing at. And he starts to get a bit of confidence and he turns it around and he like has a bit of fun up there. And he's like, look, I went to my doctor. I'm trying to get antidepressants and shit because I fucking hate my life. And the doctor basically was like, there's nothing I can do for you. Why don't you go to a comedy show? And he was just joking around, but I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to go to a comedy show. So I came and I bought a ticket and here I am. And I was like, fuck, that is crazy. And now everyone in the green room is going, I don't want to fucking follow that. And I was one of them. I go, I don't want to fucking follow that. How do you follow that? How do you follow a mental breakdown? Anyway, Ron gets gonged off eventually because we can't let him through to the final. And so he comes off stage, and there was one person after Ron went on. They got gonged off as well, and then my name got called. And I was like, fuck, how do I come back from this? And I start my set, and straight away, I'm like, the only way to get out of this is crowd work with Ron and rip on Ron so the rest of the crowd thinks it's funny. And I fucking hate doing that. But anyone in my day-to-day life knows that I'm the biggest cunt in the world. If I want to hit that cunt switch, it's ruthless. And I just flicked that switch. I was in my new outfit. I was feeling confident. And I just started being the biggest dog to Ron. And I'm like, fuck. Like in the back of my head, I'm like, fuck. But the crowd, it was insane. Like they were going nuts. And like when I got off stage, everyone out the back, they're like, that was the best set of the night. That was hilarious. But I was just saying dumb shit. Like any jokes I had about Nikita or something, I was like, Jesus Christ, Ron, who would have thought that my wife would be the biggest bitch of the night? And then obviously the room would laugh at that. When I'd start a joke about Nikita, I'm like, I'm happily married. No need to brag. No mean to brag, Ron. Again, crowd would laugh. Ron would fucking look a bit sad. And I got off stage and everyone's patting me on the back, and I'm like, I feel like the biggest fucking dog right now. They're like, you had to do it. It was the only way out of that situation. And I think it was deep down. Like there's nothing else I could do. So I made it through to the final again on the Gong Show, and I made it one step further than the last two that I've done. I didn't get zero claps, which is good. So next Gong Show, I'm getting the win, 100%. But let's move on. We're running tight for time, so I'm just going to skip that next turns out it can get worse clip. I think we've had enough clips anyway. But what I want to do, I know I usually play the motivational clip of the week at the end here. And look, if a good one comes up, yeah, I'll play it. But what I'm thinking about pivoting this to is rather than like a bit of motivation, I want to send you guys off for your week with a bit of a laugh. So I'm going to bring either a podcast clip or a stand-up clip, whether it's one that sticks in my mind from way back that just is one of my favorite clips of all time, whether it's one I've seen this week or something that I think's good to bring to the table. That's what I'm now going to pivot this segment through to, and I think it ties better in to what I want the show to be about anyway. So making shit in my life funny, then into my week in comedy, then into our like fucking funny clip of the week. I've come up with a better name for that. But this is one of my all-time favorite clips from my favorite podcast, Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast, from when they had my favorite comedian, Tom Segura, on. But this makes me crack up every time I fucking see it.
By cops leaving our Billy's, and they thought I was undercover.
Oh yeah. The cops did?
The cops thought I was an undercover cop, so they were like, pull over, we gotta chat. I looked like a cop that much. They pulled me over, and I was like, what the fuck did I do wrong?
You were
They
probably
came
dressed
up-
like a kid who went to high school to buy drugs.
Yeah, for real. They pulled me over, and the guy goes, 369? And I was like, damn thing's fine. I swear to God, I thought he said a yin yang twin lyric. He goes, 369? Damn thing's fine? And they were like, no, we thought you were an undercover.
You're like, these cops are doing
It makes me fucking laugh every time I see it. But couple of things to plug this week. Well, let's do a couple of shout outs first. I think you guys are all aware, there's a few people in the podcasting world that they're in my little podcasting stratosphere. So I thought I'd give them a shout out at the end of this episode. First of all, shout out to Jesse Parkin from Parkin Watches. I said it at the start of the episode. He's fucking gifted me this watch and genuinely appreciated. Look, I know when I had Jesse on the podcast, we were talking about his watches and shit, but I'd never really seen one up close and stuff, and he sent me this, and I was just literally in awe. Like, looking at it, like, the back of it, you can see all the mechanism and shit working, and, like, other little things. Like, he's like, oh, by the way, it doesn't have a battery in it. It's, what's the word? He told me the fucking word, but basically it runs from the movement of your body, which is insane. So he's like, if you don't wear it for a while, you got to reset the time, and then, like, the movement of your body charges it. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's nuts. So shout out to Park and Watches. I threw his little case up here, so it's now part of the set as well. He's got a big Father's Day special on at the moment where you can get one of these bad boys for $100, which is, it's insane. Head over to Park and Watches, grab one of them. You won't fucking regret it. But anyway, the other one, Matty Carvosso from the Mayraki podcast. He's been a guest again. Got engaged to his partner Amy over the weekend, which blindsided us all, I think. I think they've both been pretty vocal that marriage wasn't really in the cards for them. And then Matty just surprised Amy yesterday with a proposal on the beach. So it was such a them proposal as well. I don't think I've ever heard fuck so many times in a proposal. So put a smile on my face. So shout out to Matty and Amy. Stoked to see where they go to from here. And then the last one, Ty Avery from the Roads of Walk podcast. He said he had his Europe trip coming up when he was a guest on the podcast. Fucking, when was that? That was ages ago now. But he is over there in Europe now, just sending me photos, or sending the group chat photos and videos of the time he's having over there. So stoked that he has been able to go over there and just have a fucking ripper of a time. So it's always good to see friends in your circle getting wins and shit like that. So yeah, stoked to see all three of those things happening. But in the world of James, things to plug, we have Distillery Road Market on the 21st of September. Come along to that one. I'll be emceeing that one, and absolute ripper lineup for that one, including a cracking headliner. The Orion Hotel we have on the 10th of October. That one is all booked and ready to go as well. We have Epiphany, my solo show, my debut solo show, happening on October 7th at Good Chat Comedy Club. So again, tickets are not for sale just yet. You guys will be the first to know as soon as they drop, but I need to sell that place out. It's fucking, yeah, I've hit that part now where like the excitement has fizzled away and the stress and anxiety of getting this show ready, it's well and truly fucking hit me. So I basically have no shows this week. I will be knuckling down on trying to get that show ready. And then what I want to do, here's a little peek behind the curtain. What I want to do is basically spend the rest of this week getting the show 100% where I want it to be, which it pretty much is. It's literally minor changes here and there. Then I want to come in next week and just literally lay the whole show down through the mics and shit, so I can just be sitting at work with that playing through my ears on repeat just to drum it into my fucking skull. So other than that, guys, that has been me for another week. I hope you guys are off to a good start of the week. If you want to get in touch with me, send me a DM on Instagram at CantGetAnyWorsePodcast. Again, cracking amount of DMs and shit coming through daily now, which is, it's insane. Like, I know only a year ago I was begging for people to message us, and now it's like at the point where I don't know how I can message all these people back. So, and I'm not getting hundreds or anything, but it's like replying all that into your day to day on top of everything else. It's insane. So keep the messages coming. I genuinely fucking appreciate it. It's making it all worth it. Or send me an email at cantgetanyworsepod@gmail.com. If you've got anything to add to the show or anything like that, send it through to there. I'll bring it to the show, and we'll go from there. But other than that, guys, that's all I've got for you guys this week. I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you later.